the chemical structure of a diamond is just carbon under pressure for thousands and thousands of years. So carbon that's been compressed and compressed under pressure has now become this valuable diamond. Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to take thousands of years, but what I'm saying is there has to be some pressure, and it has to be over an extended period of time to create permanent change. Because what we're changing in the human experience is not a physical thing. What we're changing is a mindset.
Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jenn Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. Hey friend, welcome back to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm Jenn Trepic, your host and health coach, here with you every week for Wellness Without the Weirdness. Today's episode is potentially the antidote to one of the primary statements I hear from people. They say to me, I know what to do, I just don't do it. Now, friends, I certainly have a lot of thoughts on this, right? Because if you tune in often, you know a lot of the what we've been taught has led us astray, but I get it. And as I often say, you don't need someone to tell you to choose broccoli over a Tootsie Pop, right? Clearly, I have Halloween candy on the mind. So the question, though, I think is a really important one. And that is, how do we get ourselves to do the things, to make the healthful actions priorities, right? For another perspective on this, I have an absolutely incredible guest for us today. He is on a mission to create a wave of wellness around the world by helping people to make better choices and live a purposeful life of joyful longevity. He's passionate about helping people believe more, do more, experience more, and succeed more. With over 30 years experience in education, speaking, business development, leadership, and health and well-being, he provides powerful mindset programs to empower individuals and teams to be effective and create positive change. He also delivers presentations at schools to encourage teens to develop great habits, resilience, and self-belief. He's the best-selling author of 8 published books, including Eat Chocolate, Drink Alcohol, and Be Lean and Healthy. You get why we vibe, right? The Wellness Puzzle, which is also the name of his podcast, and his newest book, T.E.A.R.S of Joy. T.E.A.R.S is an acronym, T.E.A.R.S. He's passionate about sharing his powerful message from fresh perspective and empowering tools that enable others to positively and permanently enhance their lives. That's why he's a welcome addition to the incredible Salad with a Side of Fries family. Please help me welcome Andrew Jobling.
Wow, he sounds good, Jen. I can't wait to hear him.
I know, right? Amazing. He has this great accent
Incredible.
too. Aren't you excited? Right.
Well, actually, I don't think I have the accent. It's you
Right.
that's got the accent.
Totally, for sure.
But it's great being here, Jen. Thank you for the opportunity to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to continue our conversation. A little Plug City visit. So I'm going to recommend everybody go over to, when you finish listening today, click over to the Wellness Puzzle podcast. Episode 207 from March of 2024 features yours truly, right?
And it was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I listened to it again yesterday. It's so much about kind of making sense of, you know, what we should do, should in air quotes, versus like the reality of what's happening. So.
Absolutely. And that was a great episode. So absolutely. I think everyone listening should go and listen to Jen and me chat. It was wonderful to talk to you, Jen. And I love your mission, because you and I, as you alluded to, we're on a mission and to help people live an amazing life, but also to enjoy that indulgence. I mean, salad with a side of fries, eat chocolate, drink alcohol, and be lean and healthy. Well, we're on the same page, really, aren't we?
Exactly. Because what's a life without these things that, you know, are so enjoyable?
My gosh. I've spent a lot of my life, Jen, avoiding it and thinking they were all naughty and bad and I shouldn't do it. And you try and live a life without chocolate and alcohol and fries and indulgence, and it's a miserable existence. Let me tell you, it's stressful. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like we're told not to eat these foods because they're not good for us, yet the stress that's created by avoiding them can be far more damaging than actually indulging every now and then. So I've now decided that chocolate is definitely an important part of my health journey, as is fries, as is a drink every now and then.
1,000%. I'm with you. And so I want to dig more into your story that you're sort of alluding to here. Really quick, though, one more piece of housekeeping. I got to tell our members what they're getting this week.
Okay.
So members, your recipe this week is for the best ratatouille. That's literally the name of the recipe, the best ratatouille. It is delicious, surprisingly easy to make. And then it is beyond helpful for getting your veggies in without eating a salad. Because I hear from you guys all the time that you're like sick of salads. I get it. So you can add some protein to it. You can eat it warm like a chunky stew. You can throw it on top of your favorite things like a sauce. You could top other veggies with it or protein. Super fast meal any time of the day. You can even make it and freeze it so that you have veggies ready for any moment. Maybe you don't have time for a grocery run. We got this. So clearly, I'm a big fan of this one. I think you're going to love it too. If you want this recipe, be sure you're a member. Go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. For $10 a month, you get weekly recipes, a monthly article or tool, extra discounts from me and our partners, plus access to live Q&A sessions. It's a total deal. When you take advantage of the full offerings, you're going to save far more than that $10 cost. It's seriously a no-brainer way to show yourself that your health is a priority. Plus, being a member supports this podcast and this community so we can continue to bring you new episodes and experts every week. So remember, all you have to do is go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries, or just click the link in the episode notes because that's easier. Once you're there, you click support now, enter your email and payment info, click subscribe, and you're all set. You'll get this week's recipe for the best ratatouille.
Well, that sounds great, but I'm not good at cooking. So can you cook me up some ratatouille, freeze it really well, and send it to Australia?
Perfect. We'll do it. We'll
Excellent.
figure that out. Awesome. All right, Andrew, you started your career as a professional athlete. You've spent 30 plus years in fitness. You tried, as you just said, right, to restrict and find happiness, but ultimately you ended up in kind of a dark place. Tell us the story.
Oh my gosh, has everyone got a box of tissue or a box of Kleenex?
Right.
I've got to make sure I got the right terminology here because I am an Australian. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, it's been a journey, that's for sure. And I love life. I love that life happens. And I love sometimes, and this might sound weird, I love it when shit hits the fan. I love it when things don't go the way you want. Because what a wonderful opportunity to change direction and change what you're doing. And so, yeah, I played, I'm sure for a lot of your listeners, they have no idea, and not many Americans know what Australian football is. It's not soccer. It's not rugby. It is Australian football. So Google Australian football and you'll see what I mean. So I played professionally for 7 years. And I think I was a teenager when I started. And this is a long time ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth. But when I started, the mindset was no pain, no gain. That was the mindset of a professional athlete. Go hard, go home, that kind of thing. And so for 7 years, if I was to reflect on one word that resonates with me the most, that word would be pain. Training was painful. Abuse was painful. It was, that really sort of actually quite toxic masculinity kind of scenario where, don't show weakness and don't complain and just tough it out and jog it out and the whole thing. And so 7 years from a teenager to my mid-20s was, it's a pretty influential part of my life. And so I started, that was the start of my very all or nothing approach to life, my very extreme approach to life. And certainly when it came to eating, it was the same thing. I wouldn't eat fries. I wouldn't have dressing on the salad. It would always be on the side. I would always avoid the creams and the sauces and the desserts and the stuff, thinking, well, if I'm going to be the best I can be, I need to eliminate those things from my diet. And then I became a personal trainer, Jen, and this was interesting. I'm glad I changed because I wasn't very good personal trainer at the start. I joked that if my clients could walk out after a session, I felt like I'd let them down. If they vomited, I thought it was their way of saying thank you. Because in my mind, it was all about train hard. No pain, no gain. And I would berate them if they indulged in any way, and I'd give them a hard time. And I wondered why clients weren't showing up and were cancelling regularly. And I kept thinking, what's wrong with them? And then finally the penny dropped. I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw the problem looking back at me. And I said, Andrew, you've got to change your approach. This is just not going to work. So I got very interested in nutrition. I got very interested in learning about how to eat and sustain it, how to eat not to lose weight, how to eat not to get a result, not to get into an outfit, not for a quick fix, for an event or a moment in time, but for a lifetime. And it finally dawned on me that indulgence is part of that because, as I said earlier, Jen, I'd go out with people and I'd avoid foods and be stressful. And you know what people are like when you're trying to do one thing and they're not quite on board and they, come on, eat this, Andrew, drink this, Andrew, come on, what's wrong with you? And I'm tough, I'm strong, I'll stick to my guns. And it was incredibly stressful. So I started to allow some indulgence in and I started to get quite inspired and I started to think, well, okay, how do I now teach people this? And I was trying to teach clients this, but it would just, after about 10, 15 years of personal training, I was getting a little bit over that, to be honest. And I decided to buy a cafe and start providing these foods that I was talking about, reducing sugar and low GI and, natural, balanced, healthy foods, great. So I started this cafe and try to combine that with a 80-hour-a-week personal training business. So for 2 years, I ended up working 7 days a week in 2 businesses. It ended up in about $100,000 debt.
Yikes.
The cafe failed miserably. I was deep, dark. And I said earlier that I love life and I love all parts of life. And I even love when I'm in the toilet. And I was in the toilet. I really was. I was depressed. I was helpless, hopeless, in debt, struggling with my life. And I think, come back to this question that you posed right at the start of this podcast, Jen, was how can we know what to do but we don't do it? And I think this sort of moment in my life was a real game changer for me, not just in the direction my life took, but the mindset I had about every area of life. And that was as I sat there in a lot of debt, in a lot of pain, in a lot of doubt, in a lot of desperation. I mean, I was honestly, Jen, on the verge of, I was sitting very precariously on a razor's edge and it could have gone either way. If I'd gone the wrong way, I don't know if I'd still be here. And I'm being honest about that. But thankfully I didn't go that way. I went another way. And this is what I said to myself. And this is a question that I now encourage every single person to ask themselves. How do you want to live? I asked myself, Andrew, how do you want to live? Because normally the question is, what do I want?
Right.
What do I want? What do I want to do? What am I going to do now? And the what do you want to do question had got me into that deep, dark hole. So I thought, I'm not going to ask that question again. And I got very clear. This is an important point. I got very clear on how I wanted to live. And I wanted to live with joy. I wanted to live with happiness. I wanted to live with health. I wanted to live with abundance. I wanted to live with money. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to be doing things that excited me. I wanted to feel good about me. So all these things were coming into my mind as I sort of, in this imaginary world, took myself away from the deep, dark hole I was in at the time. And I visualized this life that would give me absolute joy and meaning. Out of nowhere, in this moment, came an idea to write a book. Now, this is a really crazy idea. Consider a young man who English was his worst subject at school by a long way, was a footballer. And I joke, footballers don't write, they grunt. I had no skills. I didn't like reading. I didn't write. I had no background, no skills, no qualifications, no idea what I was doing. However, I could see that if I wanted to live that life that I had imagined, well, why did I have an idea to write a book? I mean, where did that come from? I mean, that just didn't come out of nowhere. Maybe this is the path that will lead me to that life that I want. So I thought, okay, off I go, with really no idea what I was doing. I knew what I wanted to say. I just didn't really know how to write, but off I went. And that was 20 years ago. I published my first book, Eat Chocolate, Drink Alcohol, and Be Lean and Healthy. And my life, honestly, has changed so incredibly as a result of that decision. And now I've written, as you said, 8 books, and now I'm a speaker and a podcaster and do all this cool stuff like you, Jen. And I love it. I love what I do every day. I'm making a difference every day. I'm living the life I want every day. But it wouldn't have happened had I not visualized that life all those years ago.
Yeah. First of all, I want everybody to take in that question that you asked, right? Which is, how do I want to live? Which, to your point, and as you said, is a very different question than what do I want to do?
Absolutely.
The answers to that question are very different. And you've also studied human behavior, right? So in this world that you and I operate in of wellness, where there is certainly no shortage of information or knowledge.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, right? And we said it before, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. From your perspective, what creates that change? Is it connecting those things with how we want to live, or what do we do? Like, how do we sort of move in this direction?
Oh my gosh, Jen, there's a lot to this question. And I wish it was a simple answer. If it was a simple answer and we could just wave a magic wand, bada bing, bada bung, everyone would be living the life they choose. And it's important to say this, that it's a simple process to create positive change in your life. It's a simple process. Now, I'm not saying it's easy because there's a couple of hurdles we have to overcome. The first one is clarity. I just don't believe people have clarity. I think we live in a very polluted world, polluted in terms of the information that's out there, polluted in all these quick fix solutions that are out there, certainly around health and well-being, but in every area of life. I mean, how many diet pills you can take and diets are there? And, 5 minutes a day you stand on a wobble machine and bada bing, bada bung, all your fat's gone and you're fabulous and healthy.
Wouldn't that be
or
nice?
You attach some electrodes to your body and put some electric pulses through your body and all of a sudden you're ripped and rock hard and six-pack and buns of steel. And unfortunately, as a human race, we tend to buy in to the quick fix. We want to hope and pray that there is a simple solution so we don't have to do the work. But I want everyone to hear this. There is no such thing as a quick fix. You have to do the work. Now, the work doesn't have to be hard, but it's not an overnight thing. It will never, ever, ever happen overnight. In fact, the biggest mistake I feel like most people make is they think, well, if I'm going to get in shape, I've got to change everything.
Right.
It's got to be big. I've got to join the gym. I've got to go 7 days a week. I've got to give up chocolate, alcohol. I've got to eat lettuce, salad, no fries. I can't eat the fries and I can't have any fun. And they think it's an extreme change and they last 3 days, if that. And then what that does, and this brings into the second point is, well, then that chips away at their belief. Well, I knew I didn't have enough willpower. I just can't stick at anything, or I'm a procrastinator, all that kind of stuff. So I think there's 2 steps to get this process started. Well, the first thing is to understand that it is a process. And this is what we're trying to create is permanent change. So there's 2 types of change. I'm going to take us now into the world of chemistry, okay? Jen,
love it. I'm with you.
With that? There's 2 types of change. There's physical change and there's chemical change, okay? So what's the difference? Physical change is one where, we can change the physical state of something, but it's not permanent. For example, you put some water into the freezer for a couple of hours and that water that was liquid now is a solid, okay? We know that. But if you take that ice tray out and put it on the counter, a hot day, very quickly that's water again. That's physical change. And physical change is like when you go on a diet. When you think it's just about physical, when I think, well, it's just about if I eat the right things and I do lots of bicep curls and squats and lunges, all of a sudden I'm going to change. And you could, and we know lots of people, don't we, that have got some change, they've got fit, they've lost some weight, but all of a sudden it's, not too period of time, it's all back on again and they're back where they were. In fact, they're probably worse off than where they were when they started.
For sure.
That's physical change. Okay, so what's chemical change? So chemical change is something that once it's changed will never, ever, 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 ever go back. Okay, best example is a diamond. I mean, we love diamonds, right? What is a diamond? When you think about the chemical structure of a diamond, it's just carbon under pressure for thousands and thousands of years. So carbon that's been compressed and compressed under pressure has now become this valuable diamond. Now, I'm not suggesting it's going to take thousands of years, but what I'm saying is there has to be some pressure and it has to be over an extended period of time to create permanent change. Because what we're changing in the human experience is not a physical thing. What we're changing is a mindset. What we're changing is a way of operating. What we're changing is a way of believing. What we're changing is a way of doing things. So that's what we're after, is a chemical change, because I want to get there and I don't want to go back. I want to live this. I want to be lean, fit, happy, healthy, and I want to be there for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to roller coaster and yo-yo and do all the stuff that most people do. So the first step is clarity, right? How do I want to live? And I think the second thing is when you think about how do you want to live, you've then got to understand what part does well-being play in that life that I want to live. Because I think too many people were just blasé about our health and well-being. Well, I'll get to the gym if I've got time, or I'll eat healthy food if I've got time to prepare it. But I'm busy at the moment, so look, the takeaways in, that's all I could do. And we justify all the time. But I think once we can identify that our well-being is the pillar upon which everything that's important to us stands on, everything, family, career, financial situations, your social life, your spiritual life, whatever it is, whatever's most important to you, without your health, you don't have that. You lose everything. I don't think people actually stop and think about the fact that every choice they make every single day is either strengthening that foundation or it's eroding it. And at some point, if you're eroding it every day with a simple choice like skipping breakfast or a simple choice of drinking sweet drink rather than drinking purified water, if it's, I'm going to eat a muffin rather than have a piece of fruit, whatever those seemingly insignificant decisions we make are, we don't recognize that every choice we make is having an impact on our longevity, on our life, on our quality. And it's either building that foundation of well-being that we're standing on, that everything stands on, or it's eroding it. So I think the clarity and that awareness, how do I want to live, and where does well-being sit in that picture? That's the first thing we have to spend time on. If you're not sitting there with a real vision of life and why it's important and why you want to be lean fit, because losing weight is never the goal.
Right.
It's never the goal. But running a marathon is never the goal. It's always something deeper. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to be lean, fit, and healthy? There's a reason. Is it to be an example to your kids? Is it to be around for your grandkids? Is it to feel strong? Is it to be more productive in your job? Is it to set an example or leave a ripple effect or a legacy for your family and friends? There's a deeper reason. Identify the reason, and you'll find you'll start doing things and get real clear and get real emotional, and you'll start doing the things that you have previously unable to stick to.
I think this is pure gold, and I want to give everybody a second to let this sink in, because
Good.
You're exactly right. I mean, we go through the motions without connecting what we're doing to what we actually want in the bigger scheme of things, not the scale, not, the body, the physical piece, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So as this sinks in, let's highlight our partner for this episode, and then you're going to give us step 2. Good?
Sounds good.
Big thanks to Lumiere de Vie Skincare for supporting Salad with a Side of Fries. Lumiere de Vie Skincare was founded by Amber Ridinger McLaughlin in response to her own experience of mere marginal results from countless costly creams. She realized the revitalization of her youthful skin could only occur if she developed products herself. Working closely with beauty scientists and exploring the most advanced ingredients derived from the earth and sea, Amber created Lumiere de Vie, the next generation of skincare. The extensive line of luxury skincare products is designed to address all skin types and concerns. With the highest quality ingredients that are natural and powerful formulas that help heal, soothe, moisturize, and protect, Lumiere de Vie acts as first aid for your skin. The result is rejuvenated, luminous, beautiful-looking skin. So in honor of Andrew being with us today, let's highlight a couple of the Lumiere de Vie OMS products. So first, the Skincare Value Kit gives you the cleanser, toner pads, and hydrating aloe cream for just $75.50. The toner pads, by the way, are my favorite thing to use when I don't feel like washing my face. Those by themselves are just $38. The kit is a great gift. Maybe you're already thinking about holiday shopping. And of course, that price is before your discount and free shipping because you're a Salad with a Side of Fries listener. So to get 10% off plus free shipping, simply text the word SKIN, SKIN, to 844-947-4846. You'll receive the link and coupon code right to your phone. Again, simply text the word SKIN, SKIN, to 844-947-4846 to try Lumiere de Vie Skincare at 10% off and free shipping. This is a toll-free number. Standard text and data rates may apply. Okay, Andrew, back to you. Step 2.
Okay. Before I get to step 2, I think it's just important as a practical application of step 1. Let me give you the example. Often the process of getting healthy can be tedious, uncomfortable, inconvenient. For example, getting up and exercising in the morning when it's cold and wet. Sometimes eating healthy breakfast when you're not hungry. Sometimes making choices when you're out with people who are maybe pressuring you to make certain choices. And I think the reason why the clarity is so important and really clear on why you want to do something, what it does, this is what I found. It actually makes the process fun. Just as here's the example. At 4:55 a.m., my alarm goes off.
Ouch.
Yes. Well, no. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people would go, ouch, I'd never do that, right? And that's the important point. And let me tell you, at 4:55, rarely do I actually feel like getting up. So why do I? Every day. I never miss a day. I would sleep in a bit more on a Sunday, but I don't. I get up. Why? Not because I love exercise. Let me make that clear. I do it because my vision for my life requires me to be lean, fit, happy, and healthy. I'm not going to sit here and have this conversation with you, Jen, and all your listeners if I'm not living this life, because that's out of integrity. then I get out of bed. Why? Not because I'm looking forward to exercise, because I'm looking forward to the end. I'm looking forward to how I feel. I look forward to what it's doing in my life. I look forward to how it's helping me create that vision. So if you're finding the process of getting in shape tedious, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Focus on why and understand that every time you eat the right food, every time you move your body, every time you make the right choice, you're moving closer and closer to that vision, and celebrate every single action that you do. It's such a powerful thing to do. So I just want to say that the part 2 of the process is possibly the hardest one to change, because this is belief. This is our self-talk. This is who we are, because we live, again, everyone's got a different level of belief. And no matter how simple it might be to get out of bed and go for a walk, or how simple it is to eat salad or your yummy ratatouille and make better food choices, how easy and simple that really is, we have this program running in our brains, this self-talk saying, well, you've tried it before, you failed, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you may have been told as a child you're useless or you're fat or whatever. And we carry this belief system around, and what happens is, after a period of time, this self-talk becomes unconscious. And so as much as I'm going to get in shape this time, this is it, it's going to happen for me, unconscious self-talk is, no, you're not. You've tried it before. That's not going to happen. You never stick to anything. And before you know it, without even realizing what you're doing, you've sabotaged yourself. So it's really important to start focusing on being very, very, very conscious and deliberate about trying to work out what your brain is telling you and how to change it to a voice and a language that's actually lifting and encouraging you, not tearing you down. And the best way to do that, and I talk about this in my book, Tears of Joy, is to understand what your thoughts are. You use your emotion is the best indicator. Your emotional state is your body telling you what you're thinking. See, we judge emotion all the time. We always, I don't know if you've ever,
For sure.
Why am I angry, or why am I anxious? Or it's, you get angry with yourself for being angry.
Right, or like
or
so
anxious
many of
you're
us, instead of feeling whatever we're feeling, right? That's when so many of us have learned to choose food or just, eat something so that I can move on and change the state and not feel the feelings.
Yep, absolutely. We think something external is going to change that. But if you were to understand that your emotion is the most valuable information you can ever get, because your body will never lie to you, your mind will lie to you all the time. Anytime you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, lie. You can't stick to anything, lie. It's a lie. So when you feel emotion, any emotion, celebrate, because that's your body trying to communicate with you, and all you got to do is pay attention. So what you do is this. Number one, validate. Feel it. It's okay to be angry, anxious, uncertain. It's okay. So validate, because you're human. We're going to experience all of them, the emotions. Second thing is identify what it is. What's it actually telling me? What's the voice behind it that's leading to the emotion? Because you would not be feeling anxiety if you were not focused on something you didn't want, or focused on something that's out of your control, or focused on something you didn't think you could achieve. That's why you feel anxiety. So identify the thought. And when you can identify the thought, guess what you can do? You can change it.
Yep.
If you're focused on something that's out of your control, I don't know if I can stick to a gym regime, then you go, okay, but today, could I go for a walk? And all of a sudden, you go, yeah, I could go for a walk. In fact, I'm going to go for a walk right now. And guess how you feel when you make that decision? All of a sudden, you feel empowered, excited. And that process of identifying emotion, capturing it, validating it, identifying the self-talk, and if need be, change the self-talk. Now, if you're feeling grateful, excited, energized, don't change the self-talk, but work out how you can keep that kind of self-talk going, because that's the self-talk that will create the emotion, and emotion is always what moves us into action. Any emotion, we always base our actions on emotion. So when I'm feeling excited and empowered, I'll do the things that I know I need to do. But when I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling resentful, I'm feeling anxious, that's when the action I take may be a emotional eating action. It might be a reactive comment that I make to someone, and we always regret it, don't we? Like, even while we're reacting, and even while we're saying this, we're spewing this back at someone who's made us angry. They haven't made us angry, by the way. We have chosen anger based on our perception of what they said. But even as we're retorting what we think is a really clever response, and even as those words coming out of our mouth, we're saying, well, I don't this is going to land badly. I shouldn't be saying this, but you say it anyway. Even as you're eating that donut, you're saying to yourself, I shouldn't be eating this, but you put it into your mouth and you chew it and you swallow it anyway. So it's very important that we understand emotion, the power of emotion, what it means, and how we can change our self-talk. We start changing our self-talk to lift and empower and encourage ourselves. That's when the vision we have, we can stick to. And over a very short period of time, we start creating habits, routines in our life that will actually continue to give us very predictable, positive results.
So essentially, what I'm hearing you say is that we can change our results by changing our mental state.
100%. That's it. Well, if you look at the T.E.A.R.S acronym, T.E.A.R.S, T-E-A.R.S, in the acronym S stands for success. Now, I'm not here to define success for anyone, but that might be being leaner, being healthy, being whatever that success is. The R is routine. So every outcome we experience in our life right now is the result of routines we have. If we're healthy and got lots of energy, we've got good routines about eating and exercise. If we've got strong relationships, we've got good routines around communication. If we've got a healthy bank balance, we've got good routines about saving and spending. It's all about routine. Now, the A is action. Okay, we're never going to start or create a routine without first taking an action. And we've spoken about the emotion. So the emotion moves us into the action, but it really depends on what that emotion is, which actually determines the direction or the action we take, which will lead to the routine, which will give us a result. But everything starts with a thought, a belief, or a perspective. So in 1 millisecond, you can change your outcomes. You can change your direction by simply changing the thought. Instead of, I can't do this, why not think, I will learn. I'll get some help. I'll get someone to help me do this. Instead of, I never stick at anything, I'm going to start saying, today, I will focus and stay strong to this goal because it's important to me. So all of a sudden, if you can identify the negative thought and replace it with a positive one and reinforce and affirm that, then that will change your emotional state, your actions, your routines, and hence the results you start getting in your life. Simple, not easy.
Simple, but I think the other piece about how you changed that language, right, of what we're saying to ourselves, you included a piece that I often talk about with my clients that I think a lot of people forget, and that is the positive thing that you change it to, you also have to believe, right? Like you were saying, I'm going to learn how to do this, rather than saying, you stick with things, right? And then we end up in that internal dialogue. So there's a nuance to that I think is so incredibly powerful that you demonstrated.
Yeah, that's true. The affirmation piece, you've got to be very careful, because if on one hand for your whole life you've thought you're not good enough and all of a sudden you start affirming I am good enough, then there's going to be an internal battle, and we know what will win. The one that's been reinforced for 20, 30, 40 years will win over the one that you've just started. So I'm becoming a person that I love. I'm taking the steps every day to create permanent change with my health and well-being. So you've got to be affirming things that you will believe, things that you go, yeah, actually, I can do that. And here's the best news of all. The best news. I get asked a lot in interviews that I do, Jen, and conversations that I have with people. Andrew, do you think we need to focus every single day on all of the elements of being healthy? Okay, and I think if most people were to answer that question, they go, well, yeah, you've got to focus every day. I don't believe that at all. Now, you need to focus for a period of time. And that period of time, from my research, is about 63 days, and that's the time it takes to create a strong, unbreakable neural pathway in your brain. In other words, an unconscious habit. In other words,
exactly,
brushing your teeth. I mean, how many people brush their teeth today, and while they were brushing, they weren't even conscious of the fact that they put toothpaste on their brush and they brush their teeth? How many people drive home from work every day and get into their drive and go, I can't remember driving home, because they've done it every day for so long, it's now no longer a conscious thought. We have all these habits that we do. If you're sitting there with your fingernails in your mouth right now biting, you've got a habit of biting your nails, okay? And you're not even conscious that you're doing it. It's because you've done it every day for so long that now it's an unconscious habit. It's like if you're told and you start saying, affirming to yourself, I'm not good enough, that also becomes this unconscious belief. So to change, it's very doable. And I would suggest for people to pick one thing only, one thing that you think I need to do differently, one thing that'll have the greatest impact on your energy, on your health, on your self-esteem. And that might be getting up in the morning, going for a walk. It might be eating a healthy breakfast within half an hour getting out of bed. It might be drinking 2 litres of water a day. It might be something so simple, and it should be something so simple and seemingly insignificant that you think, well, if I don't do it, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal, trust me, because if you can apply that one action and do it every day consecutively, don't miss a day for 63 days, you've created a neural pathway in your brain, which means you don't have to think about it anymore. Forevermore, for the rest of your life, you now eat breakfast every day. Forevermore, you now do 10,000 steps. You now drink 2 litres of water a day. It's just what you do. And my life, that's all my life is, Jen, all these tiny little things that I've focused on for a period of time until they've become unconscious habits. Getting out of bed at 4:55, I don't consciously think about it anymore. The alarm goes off, and before I know it, I'm up. I'm going, I don't want to get up before I know it, I'm out of bed. How's that happen? Unconscious programming, and we can do it. And so the best way to get through 63 days is, number one, focus on your why. Number two, find someone to be accountable to or someone to partner with. Number three, make sure that that action is a simple one, that you have no excuse why you can't do it every single day. Number four is track it, record it, put a little tracking sheet on your wall and tick the box every day. Number five, celebrate every day, win the day. When you do that tiny little thing which seems so insignificant, jump up and down, do a happy dance, just go, good on me, I'm amazing. That's another step towards creating permanent change in my life. These are the things that will get you there. And if you miss a day, okay, here's because I know people go,
I was just going to say, yep.
Because most people go, well, I just missed a day. It's okay, I'll keep going. Here's the analogy. Imagine you're sitting in a plane. You're about to fly to the other side of the country, and the pilot's at the start of the runway and starts accelerating. You know that feeling when you get pushed back in your seat a little bit. You can feel the plane accelerating to the point where it's going to lift off. What if halfway down the runway you felt the pilot slam on the brakes and then start accelerating again straight away? Would you be nervous? Would you be worried that the plane wouldn't have enough speed to take off before the end of the runway?
1,000%.
I know I would.
Yeah.
So what would a pilot have to do if that was the case?
Start over.
Go back, loop around, go back to the start, and start accelerating from the start of the runway. Okay? So here's the answer to the question, what if I miss a day? It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. We're human. Start again. Start a new 63 days. So if you're at day 7 and you miss a day, okay, not ideal. Go back and start again. If you're at day 21, okay, well, that's 3 weeks. You've done well. Go back and start again. If you get to day 62 and miss a day, that's dumb, but go back and start again, because if you break the cycle, it won't stick. If you want it to stick, it's got to be consecutive. No one could give me a good reason why they can't drink 2 litres of water a day. There's no one could justify why you couldn't eat a healthy breakfast within 30 minutes getting up, even if it's a piece of fruit and a handful of nuts. You can do it. You've just got to remind yourself. You've got to be conscious of it in the early stage. That's the accountability. That's why you remind yourself as much as you can.
Right. Well, I think there's 2 pieces to that, right? Like, one of the keys to what you're saying is to make the thing that you're doing for 63 days so simple that it takes more effort not to do it than to do it, right? Like, that's simple.
Absolutely.
Which I think is very different than something like 75 hard, which we've talked about before, right? Like, there is so much that they want you to do for 75 days that, like, of course that feels nearly impossible. And their thing is that you have to start over if you miss a day. So what I love about this is that the thing that you're committing to for the 63 days is so simple that you will be able to get through 63 days without it feeling
Absolutely.
like climbing Mount Everest. And then the other thing is, I've experienced this myself and with my clients, and I'm curious if you see this too, that once we have built that new neural pathway, once we have gotten to that point, it is possible to have the occasional day where something maybe doesn't happen and we keep going.
We do. And that happens for me now.
Yeah.
Like there are certain days when I go, no, I'm having a day off today. I went to Bali recently for a week, and there's certain things. For a week, I need a break. But I was never going to not get back to it as soon as I got back home. Once it's there, it's strong. And yes, you can have the day off here and there and it won't affect things. But in that formation, that neural pathway formation process, it is very fragile and you've got to be really, really focused. But I just want people to think about this. 63 days is just over 2 months.
Right.
2 months to take a habit. Now, we think one simple action is not that big a deal, but it's big. It's a big deal because no one's going to give you confidence. If you'll start believing, well, if I can do that, well, then what else can I change? Number two, you'll find that as you start feeling better, you'll want to start layering other things in there. If you've ever heard of habit stacking, if you've ever read Atomic Habits, it's an amazing book about this sort of stuff. And you'll find that I'm feeling good. What else can I add? And you'll have more confidence and more belief in yourself that you can do that. You'll start seeing the impact that your choices are having on the people around you and the ripple effect that's having, which is even more, for me, that's the most powerful and motivating factor. I want to have an impact on lives, and I want people to see what I'm doing. But you'll never change someone's life by telling them what to do. You'll always change lives by being the change you want to see in the world. Do the things, if you've got kids and you want them to be healthier, be healthier.
Right.
Don't tell them, be healthier. If you don't want your kids to smoke, stop smoking, stop vaping. It's living, and it's such a powerful, these tiny steps. And you think about this, 63 days is 2 months. Imagine if every 63 days you change one tiny, seemingly insignificant, simple action and turn it into an unconscious habit. That's 60 a year. 6 new actions that are now new unconscious routines every year. Over 10 years, that's 60 habit. Do you think your life's going to be just a little bit different? Your well-being is going to be different. Your surroundings are going to be different. Your outcomes are going to be different. Oh, my gosh. And it will seem like nothing at all because each step is so simple that it's not interrupting your life. It's not tough. Will I, won't I, should I, shouldn't I, can I, can't I? It's, yep, I'm just going to do it. But it's that first few days, that first week or 2 weeks when it's not comfortable. It's still not an unconscious thing where you've got to really focus. And that's why having a coach, someone like Jenn to help you, having some accountability partner, having a real strong reason to keep you on track when it is very easy to fall back into old habits.
Exactly. I love it. I think this is a good place to put a pin in it and help everybody, choose, as you said, choose one thing between now and the end of the year. That's one thing that doesn't need to be on your list for 2025.
Absolutely. I think now's the time to start. And I think now is the time to start. Today is the time to start. People
Always.
go, I'll start next week. I'll start tomorrow. Well, let me just give you some perspective. There is no such thing as tomorrow. No one's ever lived in tomorrow because as soon as midnight strikes, guess where we are?
Today.
We're back in today. There is no such thing as next week. There is no such thing as next year. This is an imaginary concept. No one's ever been there. The only place we ever have is now, is today. So if you don't start today, effectively what you're saying is I'm not starting.
Ouch.
Tough, but true.
All right. On that mic drop moment, let's go to our rapid fire off-topic questions. You ready?
Good. Oh, I think so.
All right. What's the best thing you've done for your health this week? What's the naughtiest thing you've done related to your health this week? Because balance.
Well, I think they're probably the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
Do you know what I love in the morning? I actually have quite a few breakfasts because I get up very early. So I'm eating and I eat pretty regularly, but I get some coconut yogurt and I get some frozen blueberries and I put some chocolate protein powder. And here's the pièce de résistance. I put some chocolate buttons in there, some dark chocolate in there, and I mix that up. And I love it every day. And it's a little bit naughty because there's chocolate in there, but it's such a wonderful thing to do.
Sounds delicious. And as we know, you eat chocolate, right?
I do. I love chocolate. Yes. I love it. And for me, I don't think it's unhealthy because I don't overindulge. No. I don't need to overindulge.
Awesome. If you weren't a coach and author, what would you do?
That is a tough question. What would I do? Well, if I wasn't authoring and coaching, what would I do? Well, everything I wanted, like my mission is to help people. So it would be something I would keep speaking. You didn't say not speaking, so I can be a speaker. I'd keep speaking and I'd travel. I'd do more travel, and which I will do because I want to travel and impact lives around the world. I want to help do more volunteering, and I do a lot of volunteering to help homeless and that kind of stuff. So
nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book on any topic other than your area of expertise? Or you could give us a fiction book.
Probably my favorite book is a book called Tuesdays with Morrie.
Oh, so good.
People have read that book. And I guess, it's probably a little bit on my area. It's not my area of expertise, but it's such a beautiful story and a powerful, inspiring book that,
I love that one. Oh, I haven't thought about that one in a long time. That was good. If you could cure one ailment, disease, or sickness, what would it be?
Mindset. If I could help people think, believe more in themselves and know that they're good enough to create any change they want in their life. If I could wave a magic wand and people would believe on themselves, that would be it.
Love it. If you were a superhero, what would be your superpower?
I think it would probably be the same thing. It would just that ability to get into someone's mind and change the way they think about themselves.
Yeah.
I'd infiltrate their brain and make them believe in themselves.
Love it. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Wow. Okay. Biggest pet peeve is education, society. I've got a few of them because they don't encourage people to be healthy. There's probably the biggest pet peeve I have. I don't know if we spoke about this on my podcast, but a lot of the significant sporting associations are probably the same in the US. Advertise McDonald's as their sponsor and advertise and have footballers and professional athletes eating McDonald's and KFC as if that's a healthy choice for them to make, and not being fully aware of the damaging example they're setting for young people in the world. That's a real peeve of mine.
All right, last one. In your opinion, what's the next frontier in wellness?
Getting back to basics. My goodness. There's so much stuff in wellness, isn't there? There's all this next great diet and next great piece of equipment and next new strategy around exercise and muscle building and weight loss and wah. I hope the next frontier of wellness is people going, okay, I'm just going to eat real food. I'm going to move my body every single day. I'm just going to do the things that I know I should do, but I'm not doing. I think the next frontier in wellness is just to do what you know to do.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, thank you for being here. Tell everybody how to connect with you, find your books, your podcast, everything.
Best way is just go to my website, which is andrewjobling.com.au. So Jobling's Jobling and it's .com.au.
Excellent. We'll put links in the episode notes. Thank you again. I appreciate your energy, your enthusiasm, your passion, and for really helping people. I think we're so aligned and I appreciate everything you do. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jen. It's been great.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. On Friday in our Nutrition Nugget, we're talking about temptation bundling. So this is a common productivity tool that people use. And with Halloween right around the corner, the timing for this conversation could be really powerful for you. So we're going to talk about temptation bundling on Friday in this week's bonus episode, Nutrition Nugget. Be sure wherever you're listening, click the plus sign or the follow button, and then your app will alert you when it goes live on Friday morning. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Jenn Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I'm at Jenn Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I love hearing from you, your takeaways, your ideas, your questions. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Andrew Jobling, thank you again for joining us.
You're welcome, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And friends, if you are not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideofries, or just click the link in the episode notes to show your support for this podcast, this community, and most importantly, support your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the best ratatouille. Until next week, remember, when you find yourself not doing what you know to do, pause, consider your mindset, ask yourself what you really want, how you want to live, and then take the next step from that place. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.